as a test of your faith, that is, if you are a believer, there is almost nothing that is direct as a serious illness inflicted upon an innocent child, and worse if the child is your own. That would really test your faith to the extreme. So what do you do in a situation like that? Because in some sense, you might get into a situation like that. You will be faced with illness in people that you love. You might find yourself in crisis or overwhelmed by crisis. One of the things you do if you find yourself in such a situation is to shorten your time frame. It's something like you can't think about the next month, and maybe you can't even think about the next week, and maybe not even about the next day. You know, because now is just so overwhelming that that's all there is. That's what you do. You cut your time frame back until you can cope with it. And if it's not the next week that you see how to get through, then maybe you can see how to get through the next day. And if you can't see how to get through the next day, maybe then it's the next hour. And if you can't see how to get through the next hour, then maybe you can see how to get through the next minute. People are very, very, very tough. And it turns out, if you face things head on, then you can put up with a lot more than you even thought that you could put up with. And you can do it without getting corrupted. You have to be alert when you are suffering. You have to be alert to the beauty in life, to the unexpected beauty in life. You have to look for the little bits of sparkling crystals in the darkness when things are bad. You have to look and see where things are still beautiful and where there is still something that is sustaining. So you narrow your time frame and be grateful for what you have in the moment, and that can get you through some very dark times. And maybe you get through the dark times successfully if you are lucky. But then, even if you are unsuccessful, then maybe it's only tragic but not absolute hell. And you can do that, you know, in your worst situations. You can make it only tragic but not hell. And if you didn't know, there's a very big gap between tragedy and hell. For example, if someone is dying on their deathbed, there would be nothing worse than to see people around him or her fighting. You are on your deathbed and your loved ones around the bed are fighting. The death is bad enough, but you can take that, as terrible as it is, and make it into something absolutely unbearable. If we didn't all attempt to make terrible things even worse than they are, then maybe we can tolerate terrible things, the terrible things that we have to face in order to exist. And maybe we can make the world into a better place. And that's what we should be doing. And it's what we could be doing because we don't have anything better to do than to make the world a better place.